Welcome to Health vs. Natural Bites. Today we are going to dive deep into one of the most common questions people ask in the world of nutrition: what is the healthiest type of sugar? Sugar is everywhere in our diet, from the sweets we crave to the hidden sugars in packaged foods, and the type of sugar we consume has a huge impact on our health. For the next 3 hours, we will take a journey to understand sugar, its types, how our body processes them, the myths around natural versus refined sugar, and finally, which type of sugar can be considered the healthiest choice for you and your family. Sugar, at its simplest, is a carbohydrate that our body uses for energy. When we think of sugar, we often imagine the white granulated form we add to tea, coffee, or desserts, but in reality, sugar comes in many forms like glucose, fructose, sucrose, lactose, and maltose. Each of these has a different structure and is found in different foods. Glucose is our body's main energy source and is found in fruits and honey. Fructose is the sugar found naturally in fruits and vegetables. Sucrose is what we call table sugar, a combination of glucose and fructose. Lactose is found in milk and dairy products. Maltose comes from grains. Our body reacts differently to each type, and this is what determines how healthy or unhealthy it is. White refined sugar, the one we use daily, goes through heavy processing where natural molasses is removed. It has no fiber, no vitamins, and no minerals. It is pure energy, which means calories without nutrition. Consuming too much refined sugar spikes blood glucose levels, stresses the pancreas, increases the risk of diabetes, obesity, fatty liver, and even heart disease. So, while it may make food taste sweet, it is not the healthiest choice. That is why we need to look at alternatives. Brown sugar is often marketed as a healthier choice, but in reality, it is basically white sugar with some molasses added back. It contains a tiny amount of minerals like calcium, potassium, and iron, but the amounts are so small that they don't make much of a difference. Nutritionally, it is almost the same as white sugar, so it's not a true healthy sugar option. Honey, on the other hand, is one of the oldest sweeteners known to humanity. Raw honey is rich in antioxidants, enzymes, and trace nutrients. It contains glucose and fructose, but because of its natural compounds, it has antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. Honey can soothe the throat, help with digestion, and provide quick energy. However, it is still sugar, and consuming too much can also raise blood sugar levels. The difference is that honey provides more benefits than refined sugar when consumed in moderation. Maple syrup is another natural sweetener that is less processed. It comes from the sap of maple trees and contains minerals like manganese, zinc, and antioxidants. Compared to white sugar, it has more nutritional value, but it is still high in sugar content. The darker grades of maple syrup usually contain more antioxidants. Using maple syrup in small amounts is a better alternative to refined sugar. Coconut sugar is made from the sap of the coconut palm tree. It contains small amounts of nutrients like iron, zinc, calcium, and potassium, along with some antioxidants. One of the reasons it is considered healthier is that it has a lower glycemic index compared to white sugar, meaning it doesn't spike your blood sugar as quickly. Coconut sugar also contains a fiber called inulin, which can slow glucose absorption. However, it is still sugar, and overconsumption will have the same effects as regular sugar. Another option is date sugar, which is made from dried, ground dates. This means it retains the fiber and nutrients of whole dates. It is rich in potassium, magnesium, and antioxidants, making it one of the healthier sugar substitutes. The fiber in date sugar helps slow down the release of sugar in the bloodstream, making it a much better option than refined sugar. However, it doesn't dissolve easily in liquids, so it may not be suitable for all recipes. Stevia is a natural sweetener derived from the leaves of the stevia plant. It is calorie-free and does not raise blood sugar levels. This makes it an excellent option for people with diabetes or those who are trying to reduce calorie intake. Stevia is much sweeter than sugar, so only a small amount is needed. Some people find the aftertaste slightly bitter, but overall it is considered one of the safest and healthiest sugar alternatives. Monk fruit sweetener is another natural, calorie-free option. It is derived from monk fruit and has compounds called magrosides that provide sweetness without raising blood sugar. It is considered safe, has antioxidant properties, and is becoming popular worldwide as a healthy sugar substitute. Like stevia, it is much sweeter than sugar, so only a little is required. Molasses, the thick syrup left after sugar extraction, contains some nutrients like iron, calcium, and magnesium. Blackstrap molasses, in particular, is rich in minerals and has been used as a natural remedy for anemia. While it is still a form of sugar, it provides more nutrients compared to refined sugar, making it a better choice when used sparingly. Agave nectar is another popular natural sweetener. It is sweeter than sugar and comes from the agave plant. However, it is high in fructose, which in large amounts can be harmful to the liver. While agave has a lower glycemic index than sugar, it is not necessarily the healthiest choice. Overuse of agave nectar can lead to the same health risks as excessive sugar consumption. The healthiest type of sugar depends on how much and how often you consume it. If we are looking for natural sweeteners with nutritional benefits, raw honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar, date sugar, stevia, and monk fruit stand out. Among these, stevia and monk fruit are the best for those managing blood sugar or trying to avoid extra calories, while date sugar and honey provide additional nutrients and antioxidants. Now let us explore how sugar impacts our body in the long term. When we eat sugar, our blood glucose rises, and insulin is released by the pancreas to help cells absorb the sugar for energy. If we consume more sugar than our body needs, the excess is stored as fat. Over time, consistently high sugar intake can lead to insulin resistance, where cells stop responding effectively to insulin, leading to type 2 diabetes. High sugar consumption also contributes to inflammation in the body, which is linked to heart disease, cancer, and other chronic illnesses. But sugar is not all bad. Our body does need glucose to function. The brain, in particular, relies heavily on glucose for energy. The problem arises when we consume sugar in its refined, processed forms without fiber, vitamins, or minerals. Natural sugars found in fruits and vegetables come with fiber, water, and nutrients, which slow down sugar absorption and provide health benefits. That's why eating an apple is not the same as drinking apple juice with added sugar. The key is moderation. Even the healthiest types of sugar should be consumed in small amounts. A diet rich in whole foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, with minimal added sugars, is the best for overall health. Choosing natural sweeteners when you need to add sweetness is a better approach than relying on refined sugar. For example, if you are making tea, try a small spoon of honey instead of white sugar. If you are baking, try using date sugar or coconut sugar. For people with diabetes, stevia or monk fruit are excellent alternatives. For athletes who need quick energy, natural sugars from fruits or honey can provide a boost. Every situation is different, and the healthiest sugar for one person may not be the same for another. As we continue exploring this topic, let's also look at cultural practices. In many traditional diets, natural sweeteners have been used for centuries. Ayurveda recommends jaggery, a traditional unrefined sugar rich in minerals, as a better alternative to refined sugar. In Chinese medicine, honey has been valued for its healing properties. In the Mediterranean diet, fruits and honey were the main sweeteners for centuries, contributing to a healthier lifestyle. Science also shows us that reducing sugar intake improves health outcomes significantly. People who lower their added sugar intake often experience better energy levels, improved mood, clearer skin, healthier weight, and reduced risk of chronic disease. Substituting unhealthy sugar with healthier options makes a real difference in long-term wellness. So when we ask, what is the healthiest sugar, the answer is not simply one word. The healthiest sugar is the one consumed in the least amount, chosen from natural sources, and balanced with a diet full of nutrients. If you want to be safe from sugar-related health risks, limit refined sugar and go for natural alternatives like honey, date sugar, maple syrup, coconut sugar, stevia, or monk fruit. As we close this long discussion, remember that sweetness in life should come not just from sugar, but from balance, health, and mindful choices. Your body is designed to thrive on natural foods, not processed ones. By making small changes, like switching your sweetener, you can protect your health and enjoy sweetness in a smarter way. Thank you for joining us on Health vs. Natural Bites. We hope this deep dive into the healthiest type of sugar helps you make better decisions in your daily life. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel Health vs. Natural Bites for more health and wellness content.